Blog Talk Radio.
First World Order Radio, finally, we are on the air. No doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We get on into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're going to be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now going to make this the hottest day of the week.
Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns in existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it. Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns in existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intentions straight out.
All right, so, these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, is bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have an activated pineal gland which that produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard line in the sand between the different definitions of esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.
Atom that's shooting out of the waves. That's the building block, okay, of the
I don't need to be a dope boy, my poetry is dope enough. Trapping interstellar while my third eye open up. See through all the lies that y'all tell it with a straight face. Return of the luminous ones. Y'all better make way to find a chapter. Find a collapse on all you politicians. They politicking how to lead a world about the pissing. The way I think is more deep and in the Grand Canyon. I guarantee this black man would be the man standing. My premonition matched the OMAC calendar. It's always accurate like a lightweight challenger. For all you wicked riches and the Wizard of Oz, you and that man behind the curtain, yeah, y'all fixing to fall. Only a matter of time before shit hits the fan. Here's an idiot's guide for you on how to get a man. I don't need a bunch of homies to ride or die with me. I can call on Hey Roo to fly the skies with me. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. When I'm riding on this city streets, never really miss a beat. To the point of no return, unless I turn another cheek. Catch me on my dated box, smooth as I wanna be. Just being me, never chillin' with the wannabes. God in the flesh, dated bad sister lectures. Because my history is more than they can understand it. My melanated skin, star brush from the astro. left, the only one you can lean on. I got some school books that y'all can break y'all weed on. Our here's Martin Luther King and slave ships, but what about the underwater cities and spaceships? My mystical mind, we had the government covering, but if the old man tip will fly away like a mothership, where African people wear the real Anunnaki, wearing feathers on their heads just to prove feet taller than me. Through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. Yo, don't look at me the same, I ain't nothing like I used to be. Upgraded daily through the lies and all the foolery. My dream became lucid, I travel back in time, collecting life data for my subconscious mind. That Father let me know that anything is possible by pulling down the universe through my crown chakra. Manipulate the energy is all an illusion. Knowing who you are kills all the confusion. Why 85% judge off my appearance? I use alchemy to create the world potential. My lyrics turn divas right back at the queens. Why dope boys that think twice appearing back on the scene. Everybody gone mad, blaming media outlet. The new Black Hollywood chosen straight out the project. Homo agenda war sucking up to the master, while the whole community going up in disaster. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth.
All around the production.
Really say this the gift and the message. My music is a weapon when I use it on the reckless. Spaceships hovering throughout the whole region. Open up the sky and take the shortcut to Venus. Getting on my liver is a hard pill to swallow, like comparing your religion to it if the earth is hollow. No need to cry there and let it soak in your tomorrows. Let my music soak up all your bittersweet and sorrows. See the sun shining, I lay back and kick it. Staying sucker free is my new way of living. One day we get together, then we all start building. But the ball that I dribble got me posting like Pippin. Champagne glasses around my organite pyramid. Glazing at the stars, show the kids where we really live. These solar flares got my DNA 12 stranded. Collect the kill trends and feed it to the man spring. Wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others and cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012, 21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men and chance a heart attack. Ever since the kid went galactic, my center bracket reached the top and interacted with my solar status. The microphone I grab it, I guess it's just a habit. A living legend in your presence, sorta like the Mavericks. It ain't about me, nah, but it's about the future. A golden race is on and dealing with the cockadoodles. I'm talking to you like a grandma and your mama used to. The final stage I ride away just like it's Honolulu. I prove my old school, but since I stayed there, galactic conscious awareness, I got my grades there. See with the eye of Heru, no longer bending knees. My inner chiefs are enemy when it's time to leave. This modern day crap, I don't even follow it. I'd rather symbolize my name up in the hieroglyphs. Declare peace without Battlestar Galactica. Footstepping backwards on my way back to Africa. To wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others to cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012, 21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men and chance a heart attack and wash the tall moors. Some of us we been here to reunite the others to cool the world with wind chills. I put rap to the back for a good reason. 2012-21 was a good season. Fake people get exposed just for who they are. Keep playing traffic in the highway with moving cars. My flow bring the fear of God to the modern rappers. They crawling backwards, kicking men in chest and heart attackers.
You back with Dr. Alim El-Bey, your host on First Water Radio. My co-host, Brother Fahim. Are you here, brother?
I tell you, Washington East, Brother Alim.
Hey, Washington East, brother. How you doing today?
Doing well, very well, brother. How the brother doing?
Doing good, doing good. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right, that's good. All right, we got a fantastic show for you tonight. You already know what we're going to go into: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, said Amharic religions, metaphysically decoded. So what we're going to be doing is dealing with the historical origin and their occult principles. Then we will metaphysically decode the teachings and esoterically explain, what's really going on here. So let's get into that information. All right. Now, when you look at Judaism, let's look at the origin. The word Judaism or Judah within Hebrew is pronounced Yahuda now, or Yahudi. Now, the ancient Kemetic name in which that sounds phonetically alike to the word Yahudi is Yehudi, which is the name of Tahudi or Thoth, as his Greek name is translated to, in which that means wisdom or wise. It also means symbolic to the back of the head, which is called the medulla oblongata. All right, this is where we understand this from. The medulla oblongata is the storage place of your past lives, as well as also your connection to your oversoul, where your incarnations or your past lives are stored at. All right. It is also the place where possibly the soul enters into. There's three areas, according to Grandmaster C. Freeman L., the late teacher of the Moorish 360 degrees teachings. He stated, of course, at the top of the head, which is the crown, at the back of the head, at the medulla oblongata, as well as also at the base of the spine, and some even have taught that it was at the heart chakra. All right. Understand is that normally, if we didn't have the indoctrination in which that we have gone into, or the slave mentality, or what is called post-traumatic slavery syndrome, or what is called Willie Lynch chip, even though the Willie Lynch letter was, written by a CIA agent, it doesn't matter. The information on which that is detailed in there was factual as far as the things on which that took place. But what is stated is that without the indoctrination, the Kundalini energy, which is the serpentine fire, would resonate automatically at the heart chakra. All right, but because of the disappointments, the frustration, the anger, the envy, the jealousy, all these different negative traits, the energy has fallen from there to reside in the abode called the sacral bone, which is at the base of the spine. Mm-hmm. All right. Judaism. All right, they'll tell you that. Well, the word Judaism or Judah came from Judah. Who is mentioned in the Bible as being the fourth son, who was the fourth son of Jacob. All right, who became known as Israel, hence the Israelites. So he was the fourth son of the Israelites. All right. We understand is that was a rendition taken from the ancient Kemetic text, or what is called Tamarian text. In particular, the text was called the Perhem Heru Sut, which is called the Book of Coming Forth by Day and Night. Misnomer by Wallace Budge as being the Book of the Dead. But in the book, they speak of Tahudi's wisdom and also his magical skills. Right, he was the Magi. All right, the original Magi concept in that regard. So he was the original witch doctor or warlock, as it becomes called nowadays. So the back of the head area is also referred to as the medulla oblongata, but is also referred to as the mouth of God. So that means a mouth. And so as the Kundalini energy comes up, it hits the medulla oblongata, in which that sounds like a thump noise or like an axe hitting a block of wood. All right. So if you ever look at Hebrew, you would see the symbols for the various symbols for Kop, which is Qoph, Kop. All right. Now, the symbol for Kop, which is one of the letters in Hebrew, is an axe, is copy. And remember, not only is the medulla oblongata the area of your past lives, your incarnation, but it's also the place of photographic memory. So your memories are stored in that area. So copy, a monkey, or what is called the, which of course the symbol for Tahuti is a baboon, as you would see, as well as also the ibis bird, because the beak of the ibis bird symbolizes a writing pen, the quail. Being able to write, all right? You would see the so-called founding fathers of the United States Corporation, all right? Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, all of them holding a quill pen, in which that is symbolic to a writer, because Tahuti was called, or Jehudi was referred to as the writer of the good and bad deeds of the Neterus, or the gods. All right, he was the recorder of their actions, words, and deeds. All right, Tahuti in Hebrew would be symbolic to Gabriel, or Geb, in which that was also the earliest rendition of Tahuti. And Geb, of course, was one of the children of Ra, or Ptah, or Atum. All right. You had Shu and Tefnut, and then they gave birth to Geb and Nut. Nut. All right. So Geb was the earliest form of Jehuti, Atap. So his name in Hebrew became Gabe or Gabriel, which was one of the 7 archangels in heaven. Matter of fact, he's the angel behind or under Michael, and was the head of, in Jewish lore or mysticism, which is Kabbalah, he was the head of the cherubims. Michael is the head of the cherubims and the seraphims. Right? So Gabriel was the head of the cherubim. Right? Now, the word cherubim is taken from the word cerebellum or cerebrum, which you have 2 cerebrums in your brain, and which that symbolizes, just like at the Garden of Eden, you would have the 2 angels standing outside of the Garden of Eden with their swords, flaming or fiery swords, keeping Adam and Eve and Iblis from coming back into the garden. That was all symbolic, but those 2 angels symbolizes the 2 coverings, because that's what the word cerebral means within the Webster Dictionary, means to cover.
And these two coverings protect the third ventricle, which is the overseed of the third ventricle is the pineal gland where the soul is embedded at inside of the pineal gland. So hence that is the light of the world in which that can be shown forth. This is also referred to as the Lamb within the New Testament. Jesus was referred to as the Lamb. So Jesus actually symbolizes the sleeping soul. All right. This is why in the New Testament it speaks of the babe in swaddling clothing. The swaddling clothing is actually the pineal gland. The baby inside symbolizes Heru Pakrat, which is the baby Heru, or baby Jesus, or baby Christ, as they refer to it as. All right, which actually is the sleeping soul. All right. Upon awakening, the soul transformed from Asar to become Heru. All right. And the only way that transformation can take place is if you raise Aset, which is the symbolic to the Kundalini energy, through the 7 caves, which is symbolic to the 7 chakras or the 7 churches or the 7 stars, also referred to as the 7 caves, right? Or the 7 seals, as is also referred to as. And so as she goes up through these 7, looking for Asar to awaken him, and from that merger comes forth that divine marriage in heaven, or that divine bliss, is the production or the reproduction in the sense of Heru coming into Heru consciousness, or what is called Christ consciousness. So the Kundalini must merge with the sleeping soul to awaken the soul to who it really is, which is your divine self, your higher self, your God, your personal Lord and Savior. This is what all of this is really all talking about. That is the divine marriage in heaven, right? That the Bible speaks of, the bride and the bridegroom, all right? All of this is all metaphysical and dealing with the occult principle, because we know that once your Kundalini, which is the mother principle, which is the queen of heaven, and you see the snake right there at the tiara or on the crowns of the pharaohs and pharaohesses. Of course, that's a Hyksos term. Before the 15th dynasty, it was called the Nagu and the Naga, based on the book, which you can read, called The Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization by Anthony T. Broder. He referred that they was called the Nagu and the Naga. And of course, we have 2 countries in Africa called Nigeria and Niger, or Niger. All right, that's where the term they came. Those 2 words come from nature, or netter. All right, which means God or goddess. All right, because remember, the pharaoh or pharaohs who sat on the throne, or the Nagu, the Naga who sat on the throne, was in the image of God and goddess. All right, or the Netcher or Netcheru. All right, that's who they were. All right, their word was the word of Mahaku, which is the divine word of Tahuti or Jehuti. All right, Jehuti was the word of God incarnated, just like Jesus was known within the book of John as the word of God. The word was God, the word is God, the word was with God. All of these things are mentioned in the book of John. All right, so Jehuti symbolize that incarnation. Remember, in the Hebrew tells, it tells you that Gabriel was the individual or the angel, archangel, who came to earth, always as the messenger. All right, when Mary supposedly didn't have sex with anyone, she was getting ready to have baby Jesus, and the angel came in herald and told her that you are pregnant with the Son of God. You know, and this is in the book of Luke. This is in the book of Mark, book of Matthew. It's in all 3 of those books. And so the story goes on that Gabriel is the one who told her that she was pregnant. Same thing in the Old Testament. All right, you had Gabriel coming to those prophets of old. You have the Gabriel coming to in the Holy Quran saying, Ikra, read, Muhammad, read. All right, and that was the angel Gabriel. So Geb is always symbolic to Tahuti, which means wisdom. All right? And once again, that is at the back of the head, the medulla oblongata. That's where your wisdom is contained at. Your experiences is what creates wisdom. The knowledge in which that you acquired along with the experience is equal to wisdom. So knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So knowing is only half the battle if you don't have the experience. Right? So you can have book knowledge, but then don't have the experience, as far as physical or hands-on knowledge. So therefore, you don't have the wisdom yet. But when you get the hands-on training, now you got the wisdom. Now you can inform others about how to do it. And if they can understand and comprehend, then you just pass that training on to them. Mm-hmm. Right? This is symbolically what is taking place with Jehuti or Tahuti. All right? So Judaism is the origin, once again, from ancient Kemet. All monotheistic belief systems, as well as also all major world religions, come from out of Egypt. Right? It's just that simple. And where do the Egyptians get their information from, the ancient Egyptians, or the ancient Sumerians? Well, they got it from the oldest people on the planet, who was the Twa people, and their descendants, who was called the Kushites, or Kash. Right? The Kushites, which is the Ethiopians, the Somalians, the Sudanese, in which that we now refer to those areas as the Nubians. All right, the pre-dynastic periods, as well as also the earliest dynastic periods, all the way up, actually, after he was able to get the Hyksos off the throne from the 15th dynasty to the 18th dynasty, then from the 18th to the 25th dynasty, the Nubians came back, especially during the 25th dynasty. The Kushites came, and then after that came the fall of Egypt, as it is referred to as. And this is when the Persians and the Greeks came in and plundered and tried to gain understanding of the ancient mystery school. And how did that happen? Well, get the book Historical Origin of Christianity by Professor Walter Williams. He tells you that there was a so-called chief priest of the ancient mystery school, which is the priesthood of Atum Re, or Amen Ra. All right, Amen Ra, as it is known. All right, but it's still all three aspects: Atum Re, and Amen Ra, or Amen Re. All right, all talking about the different positions in the sky of the sun. Mm-hmm. All three symbolizes the sun in its three different from morning, with being of Horus or horizon, coming over the horizon, to the apex, which symbolizes Atun, and then as it comes down, Atum, Atan, and then as it comes down, Atum, going into the evening time. Hence, the sun now is set. So hence, you got set as it turns dark or black, or pitch black, as they refer to it as, soot. All right. So this is how this correlates. All right. So all the religions, all right, on the planet comes from ancient Kemet, all right, in which that got their information from Ethiopia, Abyssinia, or the Kushites, Nubians, Sudanese, as they refer to Somalians. All right, these teachings are still, even to this day, taught and translated as such. All right, I gave you several books already. Make sure you get these books. All right, because you're dealing with information in which that could be verified. As a matter of fact, you go to my website, and I have an article there called "The Metaphysical End of Religious Confusion," and I did the whole thing. All right, you can go there. It's called www.dralimel-bey.com, DRALIMELBEY. So dralimel-bey.com, and you can go to the Metaphysical End of Religious Confusion. So if you're still confused, then go there, and it answers all your questions. Everything that I'm talking about is in detail right there on the website. All right? I tell you even where all the books of the Bible comes from. Coming from the Pehuhin soot text, right? Or the papyrus of Anin, or the raisin and evolution of Ra, or the 42 cardinal virtues of Mayat, in which that form the 10 Commandments. You know, so we show you all these connectors. We show you the story of the two brothers, in which that the story of Joseph comes from, in which that was also based on Imhotep, who was the third dynastic prime visor. All right, he would be equivalent to the Pope today. His power was rivaled only to the Nagul, who sat on the throne, which is, i.e., the so-called Pharaoh who sat on the throne. Right? His power almost rivaled his. If you know anything about Imhotep, it means peacemaker. Imhotep means peacemaker, or the son of God. All right? You can go further on, like the I am the son of God, and then, of course, which is the same word we use now, I am. All right? I am that which that I am, Aya, Esha, Aya, or Nuke, Pu, Nuke, within the Metronesia. It means I am that which that I am. All right? So the Ain, and then Hotep means peace or peacemaker. Right? The Bible even says within the beauty ties, within the New Testament, in the four so-called first books of the New Testament, Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, they speak of Jesus in the beauty ties, and it says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the earth." You know, type of thing. All right. So I'm paraphrasing. So of course, you know, when you understand these keys, you can connect the pieces of the dot. Right? Another good book is called Bible Myths. All right, Bible Myths by Dow. I think his name was Timothy Dow, Doane S. Dow's. Right? It's called Bible Myths. Get that, and this will help you, help show you the connecting pieces between the Sumerian culture, which is called the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the tales of Etana, the tales of Ishtar, you know, all these particular stories or renditions of the ancient Kemetic story, just in a different dialect or tongue. All right? If you never heard of the Ma Confederation, M-A-A Confederation, go and do your research. All right? And you will see that the Elamites, which is the 12, you know, part of the 12 tribes of Israel, as well as also the Sumerians, the original Indo-Kushites from out of India, who was referred to as the Tamil people, the pre-Davidians, as well as also the Ethiopian or Kushites from out of Africa, as well as also the Egyptians or Tamarians, what is called the Tassetians and the Nessians. They had, which is also the Dogon was part of that. It was called the Ma Confederation. Right, this is before Egypt. We're talking about the pre-dynastic, and this is the origin of Freemasonry nowadays and how it spread throughout the diaspora. You get a book called African Origin of Civilization by Sheikh Anta Diop, and he states in it that around 500 BC or so, various priests from out of Egypt spread it throughout the diaspora, taking the ancient mystery schools into each of these regions, in which that formed the various religions in which that we now call Judaism, Christianity, Islam, later on, as well as also Hinduism, Buddhism, Shintoism, Jainism, Zoroastrianism. All right? So we are seeing a flourishing of various so-called religions, and you're talking about schools of thoughts, really. All right? Don't get caught up into a religion. Sorry. All right? It's just a school of thought. All right? It's just like with kindergarten. you went to the first grade. After you finished the first grade, you went to the second. All right, after that, you went to the third. But you ain't never forget the shit that you was taught in kindergarten. You never forget the shit you was taught in first grade. You never forgot the shit you was taught in second grade. All right, so as you right, so as you continue going up into your grades, through your schoolage, this isn't about forgetting what you've experienced and what you have been taught and what you have been able to retain mentally. All right, this is about your soul salvation and finding the paths or finding the keys in which that helps you unlock your doorway to the hidden world. Not to get caught into a particular religion and then try to make others convert to your belief system. All right, and we talking about belief because belief is different than facts. All right, facts is something in which that is much more concrete than beliefs. Belief can be superstitious.
Right.
All right, you can believe that a black cat can cross your path and can give you bad luck. That's a belief. That may not be so. A warlock or a witch may see a black cat and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about." So it's a perception. A belief is perception. Now, facts are much more concrete in the fact, or in the sense, is that now you have scholarship in which that you can utilize, archaeological finds and artifacts and digs that you can refer to, statues and monuments, temples, structures that you can show and tell. The handwriting is on the wall, as the people say, which is there all throughout Kemet or Tamari or Tamaray. All right, so we understand this. All right, and then even better than facts is truth, because truth can't be changed. All right, facts can be verified for up to that particular time period or up to that particular age. Like, for example, in the Forbidden Archaeology, the book by Michael Creedmoor, which is called the Forbidden Archaeology, the Hidden Race, the Hidden History of the Human Race, or something like that. Michael Creedmoor and Richard L. Thompson speaks about that 2.8 billion years ago, they have found these orbs in South Africa with carvings at the equators, 3 lines or at the equator on these particular spheres or orbs. And these orbs is made from some type of iron in which that they have no knowledge of. But obviously it was made by intelligent beings. In other words, beings was able to smelt metal at over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. All right? That's the only thing in which that can melt metal or iron or steel or whatever the case is something that's over 2,000 degrees. So they had technology almost more further back than 2.8 billion years ago. Now, of course, they always show you the caveman, at the turn of the last ice age, less than 10,000 years ago, in the cave, putting rubbing two sticks together in order to get fire. And hence, like the caveman discovered fire. Right? And there's always these Neanderthal looking humanoids or mankind, in which that even today has 4 to 8% or more genetics of the Neanderthal within them. And this goes for the European as well as also the Asians or Orientals. All right? Africans do not have these Neanderthal genes. So that means that there wasn't a lot of mixing in that regard. And plus, when you do your research on Neanderthal, you find out that not only did they live in caves, but they also practice cannibalism. All right, there's recent articles that states that they found scientifically genes of others within their finds of the cannibal people that they have discovered. They have found, the facts of them eating each other. So there was cannibalism in which that was going on real big amongst them. And this being that the fact that the Albion has more than 4 to 8% genetic structure of the Neanderthals would show the reason why he is so aggressive and why even today they still like to eat people. All right. You can get another book called the Pyramids of Montauk by Peter Moon, and I believe, or the Black Sun of and there's a Montauk, part of the Montauk Chronicles by Peter Moon. In the Black Sun, particularly, they speak about how the Europeans was eating the mummies, the mumia, of the mummies and the pineal glands of people. All right, because they understood that the Carvers said that the soul was embedded inside of the pineal gland. They know they didn't have soul, so they was trying to eat the pineal glands in order to gain a soul. Hence the origin of melatonin and melanin today. Melatonin being one of the precursors of melanin, in which that they have melatonin capsules today in the drugstores. All right, many of y'all have heard about Finkelstein, in which that Rabbi Finkelstein, and he just came out and stated that the 250,000 to 300,000 children in which that go missing every year, we take them, we drain them of their blood, and we use the blood, during our Passover ceremony, and then we're not cannibals, and then give the bodies to McDonald's and many of our other industries after we grind up the meat, and they take it gladly from us. So this is the thing that's going on. So we have to show you the difference between real Judaism and cannibalism, in which that is practiced oftentimes by these Khazarians or these so-called Russian converts. We know that the Caucasus Mountains is right there between the Caspian and the Black Sea, and right along the Russian and Turkey border. And if you ever go and or even pull up, and look at the Caucasus Mountains and see where they resided at, you would see that based on Elijah Muhammad's teachings, over 2,000 years they spent up in the Caucasus Mountains. All right, we did not allow for them to come down, and during that time period, they walked on all fours. They ate the youngs. They was cannibalistic. They practiced incest, and so this is how during that period, for that 2,000 years, in which that it began to produce the phenotypes in which that you see now, and the reason why they can't mix back in, or because they mixed out the blood lineage of us, over that 2,000-year period in order to promote and create what we call the Caucasian race. Even though they originally came from so-called black genes, they can't, however, produce us unless we are now within 4 generations of their bloodline. And of course, for those who understand Gregory Mendel's theory called the Punnett square, you have big B, big B, big B, little b, little b, big B, little b, little b. Right? Big B is dominant, superior. Little b is weak and recessive. All right? African genes are big B, big B. All right? When we mix in with them, then it becomes big B, or little b, big B. Right? Once you have mixed out of several generations, right? Like, for example, 1/16 of blood, this is what they used to say, that if one black mixed in within 16 of their people in that family, then, or within that generation, then that individual, the individuals who come after that would be considered black. Right? And we only using terms black and white based on what they have imposed upon us. We understand that we can say that we are Moors, and we can say that they Albions. All right? Understand the principle. All right? Don't get caught up into the linguistics right now. Just try to follow the principles of what you've been taught, because this is the way that they have entrained you. All right? Now, when we look at real Judaism, we're talking about them transforming the Sabbath day to Sunday also. Right now, who did that? That was Constantine. 325 AD, 318 bishops, Arian got excommunicated because he did not go along with it. And if you look at Constantine, the actual painting of Constantine, he was a brother. He was not an Albion. So what happened is that they was trying to give the world the ancient mystery school system, all right? But by giving the world the ancient mystery school system, people's interpretation of such, because they did not know the dialect or the language, got caught up in the images or the imagery, got caught up in the storyline, got caught up in, into just the mythology of the information. And this is what caused the spirituality to become degraded into what is just a religion. All right. And the word religion originally comes from the Latin word relego, which means to bind back or to tie down or to hold back. Now, the tie back is actually in reference to your higher self. You're supposed to be tied back or bind back to your higher self and your higher self principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The laws of Mayat, as we refer to them as. Right? However, we have fallen to such a state that is no longer the case. So religion has become degraded, and we're looking at the mythology no longer being able to be explained by many of the so-called scholars. Them people that you hear on Sundays, whether it's coming from Creflo Dollar, or as we say, creep low with your dollar, or whether it's coming from TD Snakes, or any of them other Pastor Pork Chops, or Pastor Ribs, or Reverend Ribs, whichever names you want to call them. They can't explain this stuff. I even had one so-called reverend to tell us to our face, I know about John Henry Clark. I know about Dr. Ben. I know about Oscar Crazy. But I got to be concerned about my flock. No, nigga, you got to be concerned about your pock, as in your pocket.
Exactly.
That's what that is. And so he had to be concerned about his flock. So he said, he said if the Bible said Jonah got swallowed up by the whale, he's going to teach them niggas Jonah got swallowed up by a whale.
That's sad though too.
Right. And this is what he's going to teach them. No problem. But yet he knows allegory. And he knows that the mythology has to be explained. But he's not going to explain it to his congregation.
No.
This is why the deacons and the missionary board tell everybody in the church, the congregation, don't ask the pastor no questions. So you're not supposed to question him. So this is how you get away with the indoctrination, because there ain't nobody up in there questioning him. But yet this shit's supposed to be about saving my soul.
You question God if you do that.
Right. Well, if you question the pastor, that's like you questioning God.
Exactly.
It is. Well, I got some questions. Sorry. 12 years old, and I brought that question up to my congregation, right? Baptist church. I was up in there, and I asked the question to a Sunday school teacher. I said, the original day for the Sabbath was Saturday. Who changed it to Sunday? She said, you know what? You're right. The original day was Saturday. That's a good question. I'm gonna ask the adults in the adult Sunday school class. Maybe they have an answer. I said, okay, let's find out. Now I'm 12 now. I already knew these niggas ain't have no answer to this. But I asked the question because, hey, it's time for us to find out the truth. So we go back out in the adult class. She raised the question that I asked. Nobody knew the answer. Okay. Hell, I didn't know the answer at that time. But I knew it was bullshit. That's what I did. All right, 7 years later, I'm 19, but first year in college. I'm doing crazy research. I'm up in the archives in the library on campus. I'm in the damn reference material on campus at the library. I'm everywhere. I'm reading hundreds and thousands of books. Right, my first semester. Hell, I was even like, yo, fuck class. I ain't even going to class. I was skipping days like crazy my first semester. I was like, yo, if I make a B or C up in there, that's fine with me. I ain't got to have no A. This right now is about my soul. So I'm going to all these particular areas in the library. Boom, I'm finding books all about individual by the name of Constantine. And him putting together what is called the Nicene Council. Interesting. And find out that he changed the day from the Sabbath, which was the Saturday, because of the Jewish traditions, and he wanted to make Christianity or Christendom the main religion, so they used the day of the sun, which is, of course, Sunday, which was still based on paganism. Of course, a day can't be pagan. All right, that's the first thing. The word pagan originally meant the people's traditions. So it can't be pagan in the sense of what you may think that pagan means, as if it's something, blasphemy or something in which that just isn't so. All right, or Astaghfirullah, whatever term you want to use, coming from your Quranic or biblical perspective. All right. So they tell you that day of the sun, which is Sunday, is pagan. No, the Sunday is the first day of the damn week.
Exactly.
All right, based on the calendar. It ain't got nothing to do with you worshiping God. You should be worshiping God in yourself every damn day.
Exactly.
Your body is the temple of God, based on 1 Corinthians 3:16. Not a damn day in which that you got to go in fellowship with Negroes, who's eating chitlins and cooking fish. Right, that's not what this is about. Sorry. All right, so we find the origin of Christianity coming straight out from Judaism, and so you have the Old Testament, in which that is nothing more. The rendition of the Old Testament is the New Testament. Many of the things within the New Testament come straight out the Old Testament. Hell, even Jesus is stated, saying that one jot or one tittle shall pass from the law. And what law is that? The law of Moses. All right, and we know that Moses was a mythical character based on Thutmose III, Upmoses, all right, and the so-called enemy was Ramoses, all right, or Ramesses, all right, all once again Egyptian or Kemetic or Temerian tales or stories, all right. Upmoses and his son Thutmoses were the first, and then the second and the third. They're the ones over a 300-year period got rid of the Hyksos. Right? They're the ones who got rid of the Hyksos during the 18th dynasty. Right? They're the ones who ran the Hyksos out. Right? But the Hyksos been there for over 3 dynasties, though, from the 15th dynasty to the 18th dynasty. So there was heavy mixing in with the Hyksos and vice versa in that regard. All right? So from that mixture came forth what we refer to as the Habarus or the Hebrews. But understand that the Hebrews was not a race. Hebrews actually was the priesthood, what was called the priest of Heru, or the priest of light. The word Heb means priest. The word Heru means light. The priest of light. So hence the connection of Heb, Heru, Hebrew. Right? This is a Metu Neter connection. This is why we must learn Metu Neter, which is hieroglyphics. We must learn and study this. That way you're going to have your answers on what is actually taking place, as compared to somebody who's just telling you a tale and can't prove it. Okay? So we find that Judaism is a with its byproduct of Hebrewism, and then you have the word Israel. And the word, remember, Jacob wrestled with the angel Uriel, and Uriel hit him in his thigh. And, he seen the land, he named the land Pineal because he seen God face to face and all this other stuff. Because he ascended from his lower self, which he was hitting in his thigh, hence in his private place, in his genitals, that caused him to raise his Kundalini energy up to see God face to face, hence to the pineal gland or so, to the crown chakra. And he was able to see God face to face and named the land Pineal, as in the pineal gland. And the reason why they place your black ass, as we would say, in the penal system, behind 4 white walls, calcified or calcification. The fact that they don't have access to the divine self, they're showing you that they can lock you up and don't give you access to freedom also, which the soul symbolizes being able to be free from the body, being free from incarceration, or in what we say incarceration, but we know it as incarnation. So you have to stay, based on the new penal system of the new form of slavery, the new Jim Crow. That's the biggest business now, is placing us behind bars. That is the main thing right now. All right, so we understand, the origin of Israel, because the word Israel within Hebrew means to ascend to God. To ascend to God. That is talking about the Kundalini ascending inside of you up into the 7 chakras, the 7 veils or 7 seals to be open. And once you have ascended to God, then you can see God face to face. This is when you are able now to commune with God face to face. It's called infinite consciousness or universal consciousness, cosmic consciousness. And it's at that level that you are able to commune, all right, and tap into the Akashic record, which is called the Universal Library. Right? So this is what's really taking place. And this is the keys that is found in Judaism through the Kabbalah, which if you get the book called Holy Kabbalah by A.E. Waite, he tells you on page 19 and 20, all right, is written in, the intro is written, I believe it's written in Roman letters. So it's like IX, 1X, IX and XX. But in there, you would see that he makes mention of the fact that the Kabbalistic teachings were the information left in the libraries by the Moors. So the Kabbalah is alchemical teachings. Is the alchemical teachings. The word
no doubt.
Alchem means the black, or the study of the blackness. That's what alchemistry means. Just like chemistry means the study of blackness. All right. The word chemistry comes from the word alchemy. And alchemy, you was able to transform lead to gold, which is talking about through those 7 chakras. Gold symbolizes the golden disc in which that you receive once your Kundalini raises to the pineal gland and enlighten it. It is able to now show forth this golden glow around your head, which is called a halo, or heru, which is heru. Right? The word halo and heru is the same word. HALO, HARU. The R and the L were interchangeable in Metu Neter. The O, the U, and the W was interchangeable in Metu Neter. So halo becomes the word heru, or HERO, or HERU, which is the word hero or haru. So all the heroes' mythology is based on the one character coming from ancient Kemet, or Tamaray or Tamari, or ancient Egypt, on Heru. All the mythology. So Superman is based on Heru. Every character in the comic book is based on Heru. Anyone who wants to be a hero, that hero mentality, that whole thing, being a warrior, all that is based on that mythology.
Yeah,
Right.
you say
Now, of
last
course,
avatar.
right, the last avatar, exactly, all of it. All right, so we understand. Now, the word Christianity comes from the word caress. All right, it's caress Ani. If you go to the papyrus of Ani, you will see that Ani symbolizes Anu, which means your higher self up there. In other words, it's talking about there's 7 heavens or 7 atmospheres in which that encircles the earth. And the ionosphere is about 32 miles up, up into the sky. And the ionosphere is where they put the satellites at in order to do communication. And so that is the realm in which that they found out that the ionosphere is a perfect mirror of every image, no matter how faint, here on earth. So this makes sense. So now your third eye, when you go to sleep at night, your 2 physical eyes are closed, but your third eye obviously is an eye. Scientists have found out that it's called the epius, which is an eye. That's what it's called, the epius. It's an actual eye in which that give you the ability to commune between heaven and earth. You want to speak with your ancestors, commune with your so-called dead relatives or living ancestors, you're able to do so through your third eye, because the images of them in which that once existed here on the earth is now images, emissions, and the electrons there in the ionosphere. Now, you don't believe me? Get the book called Ankh by Nur Ankh Amen, and the introduction was done by Queen Afua's husband, Heru Samaj. I'm not playing with y'all niggas tonight. I dare anybody to go to my website and try to prove me wrong.
They can't.
On anything that I'm saying on there, especially on that metaphysical interreligious confusion.
Not with that bullshit.
It can't be. It can't be done.
It can't.
All right, because the writing is on the wall. It's right there in ancient Kemet. The ancient priesthood, all the time for Amen-Ra, came from the Ethiopia. The Ethiopians or Kushites always ruled and ran Amen-Ra. Even Atan, when the worship of Atan came from Ankh-Aten, who was known as Akhenaten, Ankh-Aten, Amenhotep IV, as he was called, when that information, even he left. All right, some say he was poisoned, but no, he wasn't. He left, and actually, this tells that he came here to the Americas. You have Amana, or Amara, in which that you have 18 temples in which that has been found in the Grand Canyon. Okay, so he knew about this land over here, which is called the land of the immortals, or the land of the serpents. It was called the Amaru Ka. Right, that's what that means, the land of the serpents, or the land of the immortals. The serpent was always in ancient Kemetic philosophy immortality, because it was able to shed its skin and yet still live. Just like the soul is able to shed this skin and still live. Snake was always symbolic that, and then it curves in a sine, or in a sine wave pattern, or in a electrical pattern. So hence the serpent was also symbolic to electricity. Hence the word El, as in Brother L. So those who carry the El title is actually talking about Baal, son El. El, was the father, and Baal was the son, in which that we get the word Bey from. Right. So those two, El and Bey, come from El or Il and Bel or Baal, in which that has been demonified based on the connection to the serpent. But these were the Nagas, niggas. All right, in which that we're talking about. You have found that term Naga on all of the continents. You go to Australia, it's there. You go to Africa, it's there. You go to Asia, all right, in particular China and Japan. You ever heard of Nagasaki? Nagasaki was one of the places in which that was bombed through ethnic cleansing by the so-called United States during World War II, 1945. They destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the city of the serpents. Saki means city. Naga, serpent. The city of the serpents. That was us. They was doing ethnic cleansing. Right? So understand, in Mexico, the Naga, Hindu Americas, amongst the so-called Native American indigenous people, the natural people, Naga. In South America, the Naga. In all inhabited continents, the word Naga exists as one of the oldest terms stemming from, if you get the book, I think it was called Children of Mu, written by James Churchward. He speaks about the Nagao and the Nagao language from the Nagas. Right? And this was the language that we originally spoke, in which that now is tied to what we refer to as Metronetia, the mother tongue language. This is why Arabic and Hebrew, Aramaic, which come from Amharic, all of these came from out of the Heretic and the demonic scripts of the Metronetia. Right? You go to West Africa and you can go to the Akan and speak Shri. Shri is 98% Metronetia. You go to the Dogon, amongst them as they with the Mandingo, the Bos, the Va or the Vey. They speak Mandingo, Amanda, in which that is 90-some-odd% Metronetia. Right? The Olmec spoke Mandese. That means the language in which that we first became accustomed to, as being that the Olmecs was the first civilization in the Western Hemisphere, moderately that is, because we got information of civilizations dating back in the Americas further back. We're talking about 600 million years ago. You don't believe me? Get the book. Once again, Forbidden Archaeology, The Hidden History of the Races, of the Human Race, by Michael Creedmoor and Richard L. Thompson. They say there was a blast that was carried out in Dorchester, Massachusetts. And this June 5th, 1852, by Scientific American magazine, in which that speaks specifically about they found objects like a metal bell-shaped vessel, a vase type of bell. It was bell-shaped, and it says at the bottom it had exquisite carving, hence like a writing system. So not only were we smelting metal here in the Americas 600 million years ago, we had a writing system 600 million years ago. Now, understand that when you go to geography class, the Albion would tell you that all the continents put together was called Pangaea, and that was 200 million years ago. So this means if this took place 600 million years ago, that means that from out of Africa, and as we spread it throughout the diaspora, we was in North America 600 million years ago, which is 400 million years ago before the continental drift. And this correlates to what Prophet Noble Drew Ali states in chapter 47. Okay? When he said, even before the great Atlantis, meaning before the Atlantic Ocean existed, the continents was together. We was already here. So that verifies what he's been talking about for those who go and read chapter 47 specifically about the empire of Egypt. Egypt empire spread it throughout the world. right? The Sumerian Empire spread throughout the world, the mystery school system. And this can be verified that it spread throughout the world by Stolen Legacy by George G. James. He states how the ancient mystery school system spread it from out of Ethiopia into Egypt and then spread it throughout the diaspora into the various continents and cultures of the world. And became the major influential teachings within those particular cultures worldwide. All right, this is just proven facts. Mm-hmm. So Christianity is based on Keres, and Keres is his other name is Heru. So this is why they have Heru, which is now Jesus, as the main character of Christianity. It's because Heru was Keres, which means the Christ. Heru Keres, Jesus Christ. All right. Another name for Heru was called Isa, the Isu. That's the same name of Jesus in Arabic in the Quran. But that was the name of Heru. 3,000 years before the story of Jesus. Now, you don't believe me? Go get the book Jeremiah Lectures by Jeremiah. He says it in there. And matter of fact, he takes it even further back. He says, shit, we talking about damn 2 processions of the equinox. Talking about 52,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talking about mythology in which that goes further back than just 2,000 years ago to your white Christ, who never existed. All right. Heru's other name was Shu, who was the first begotten son of Atum. Just like Jesus was the first and the only begotten son, as you read within John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever shall believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Of course, Shu can give you everlasting life. Because Shu is personification of air. It's the breath of life. And for you to master the science of the breath of life in the physical, give you a much more powerful impression upon the astral, which is in the ionosphere. So the more that you can breathe, the more your memories are retained outside of the body. If you learn how to master the breath. So hence, everlasting life. Stop playing. See, now you're dealing with a goddamn master, a metaphysical master on this shit. All right? Bobby told me to do this nearly 20 years ago. 1995, Bobby said, man, shit, man, you need to go in and do that. You know, what you waiting for? And I've been doing it ever since. You know, I was doing it before Bobby. I was doing it before I met Bobby. I was doing it back in '88. I was teaching this information. But it wasn't until '95 when I met Bobby 7 years later, and he was like, yeah, you know, you probably need to start doing this. And he was right. So there's a lot of confusion out here, and these niggas ain't getting it right.
No, you get some brothers saying that Jesus was actually Yahshua.
Right, and Yahshua is true. That is the Hebrew name, but the word Yahshua in Arabic, within Hebrew and Aramaic means "O Savior." Jesus in his transliteration means Savior. But we know that there was no J before the 15th century,
right?
16th century or the 1500s. There was no letter J used. J came from the letter I, and I from Y, and H. So Y, H, I, and J was all used
Peace, peace.
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 All right. God damn it. They thought they had me.
I started to keep it going, but I don't know if I was on the air or not. So I just I waited out.
Yeah, you were still on the air.
Was I? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. Your mic was open, but they dropped my call. They dropped me. So I had to call in as a damn guest. They think they slick, but the nigga slicker.
Yeah, I was giving an answer about Joshua and Jesus, but that was it.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's get back to that. Thank you, Brother L. All right, so Yahshua, the word Yahshua in Aramaic and Hebrew means, oh, he who saves, or savior. Now, the word Yahshua comes directly from the ancient Kemetic word shu. All right? The Yahivahi, which is the shu is embedded in between, which is Yahweh, or Yahweh, as we refer to it as, is the letters Yad, Hey, Va, Hey. All right? That name backwards is Tahuti. It's a name for Tahuti. All right? Now, you can get this information from Western Religions by Dr. Ben Yakinen. All right? The African Origin of Western Religions by Dr. Ben Yakinen. He got that information in that book, that name, Yahweh, is Tahuti, which we know that those four letters symbolizes the four amino acids: cytosine, guanine, adenine, and cysteine. All right? So those four amino acids is the building blocks of life, is what give you the life principle. So hence, Yahweh is your DNA. The building blocks of life. And this is why they say Yahweh is evil, is because in the Gnostic scripts, for the soul to be incarcerated or incarnated in a physical body is evil. Hence, the word evil spelled backwards is the word live. They did not say that you lived until you was out of your body. Otherwise, live flipped backwards, which means in your body, was evil.
So Yahshua was real, or?
Yahshua is the breath of life, which is in the Yahweh, which symbolizes being able to manipulate the DNA codes in order to give you everlasting life. It comes through the breath of life, is what gives you immortality.
Okay.
By doing your breathing meditation, you can develop what's called the golden dragon body, in which that you can now use that body out of this physical body and never have to incarnate again. Hence, everlasting life.
Mm-hmm.
So the breath of life is the mediator between the mind and the body. So hence, when Jesus said, no one can get to the Father but by me, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. The Father who art in heaven is the soul embedded in the pineal gland. Heaven is the mind, the brain. That's why you have dark matter and white matter in the brain. Hence, dark clouds and white clouds. So the sky was always symbolic to the brain or head area. All right. So Shu, which is the breath of life, God breathed into the nostrils of man and made man a living soul. The breath makes you alive. The breath gives you.
We're speaking of Yahshua as in a mystical sense, right?
Right. Right. That's what they talk about. They talk about Yahshua or Jesus in the sense of this one person who was endowed with these capabilities. When even your Bible tells you that Jesus said, greater works ye will do. But damn, if I can do greater than you, and I'm reading all this shit here, you walked on water, you healed the blind, you healed the deaf, you made the lame walk, you turned off women's menses after 12 years, you made the dead resurrect, Lazarus resurrect after 4 days, all these things. You can do greater. But you can't do greater if you're worshiping something outside of yourself, waiting for something else to happen. You waiting for a white man to come back. You waiting for a goddamn spaceship to come back. You waiting for something else to come back in order to save your ass. What is the white Jesus going to do when he get back here? I thought he died already for your sins. So what is he going to do when he comes back? Wipe your ass? What are you going to do? See, this is the problem that's going on. They can't decipher metaphysical principles, allegories from literal historical events. Okay? This is the problem that's going on. Because many will read the Holy Quran Circle 7, bypass the signs of the holy breath, which is in there, and go straight to Jesus and act like Jesus existed 2,000 years ago. Except now he's not a white man that they show us on the show us in church. Now he's a black man. He's a brother.
Well, he was actually Yahshua.
Right. Name is Yahshua, but
that's
Yahshua
what they were saying.
Right, but Yahshua is the breath of life, which is in every one of us. But
they're saying Yahshua was a real man, though.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it is. Once it's inside of you and I, we become real men.
Exactly.
Real women. Right, they become real women. Everything becomes apparently real once the breath of life is in each and every one of us. What happens when a child, when a doctor have to spank the child ass? What happens with that? The child takes in the breath of life for the first time outside of the womb. Okay? So, what happens when the body dies? You take a great exhale at the point of death. So, at birth, a great inhale. At death, a great exhale. So, your whole damn life was based on the breath.
Exactly. No doubt at all.
Right.
No doubt about it.
Okay. If you are alive, your body is composed. When you are dead, your body is decomposed. So what held your body together as it was composed? The breath of life. Because what's the problem or the difference between a living and a dead person is that the breath is no longer in the dead person. You don't see them breathing any longer.
No. Sure don't.
The breath is gone. So the breath is the soul. The soul rides on the breath. The breath is prana. And the prana is universal. God damn, when we won't get this shit right. Then we will have much more of a necessity to meditate and to breathe. And it won't just be recreational and curiosity. Oh, I'm curious. I need to learn. I need to go to this yoga class. Motherfucker, you eat maybe 3 times a day. Maybe 1. You drink several times out the day. Supposedly 8 to 12 glasses of water or so. But goddamn, you breathe 25,920 times in the goddamn 24-hour span. You do that more than any damn thing else in your life.
Exactly. No doubt about it.
And you just going to bypass that shit like that shit don't matter? God damn it, stop breathing for damn 3 to 6 minutes and see what the fuck happens. I got 911 on the damn line for you.
Come get his ass.
Exactly. Come get his dumb ass. He stopped breathing. This is the signs of the holy breath that the Holy Quran speaks about. The holy breath is Jesus, which is justice. The Nation of Islam, the Nation of Gods and Earth, and the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Divine National Movement, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, all of them speaks about the same thing, Jesus being justice. Justice is symbolic because it's talking about your spinal column. At the base of your spinal column, it hooks in a downward triangular shape, which looks like a scimitar, a sword. That's justice. And what resurrects that sword energy, which is the mother of justice, which is the mother of virtues, the higher self. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of virtues. Love, truth, right, and free. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
The higher self is the mother principle. And Negroes talking about, oh, it only speaks about the Father Allah. It does, but then who the hell is this mother principle? And they're talking about the holy, talking about the higher self.
Right.
That is the Kundalini, right, over top of the head, back at the third eye area. That's why Eve and evil is synonymous. Eve is called Yahweh, which means the mother of all living. Her name is Eve in the English transliteration. You throw the L on it, becomes the word evil. So the snake and Eve become synonymous. They're still not understanding this.
No, they're not.
So is it evil in the sense of what we're talking about? No. You're talking about Eve as in triple stage darkness. In order to come forth from out of into the light, you must go through darkness in the womb. You was there for 3 trimester periods. You was there from first 3 months, second 3 months, third 3 months. 3 times 3 is 9. You was there for 9 months. 3 trimester, hence the 3 stages of death, stages of darkness, or Dorf, as it is also referred to, or as Dorf brings down into Malkuth, which is the kingdom. All right? The woman, Dr. Ben always said, heaven is between the legs of the black one. That's the Stargate. That's the Star Portal. Brother, as you know, you're always trying to get back into the Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Freemasonry is based on. The compass and square is the Vesica Pisces, which is the vagina. The G symbolic to God, a goddess. Geometry, geography, measurement, meets and bounds. Everything spoken of within the Holy Quran, Circle 7, when you read about what? Those Masonic principles that's in there.
And you can't survive without none of that, none of the sciences.
Bingo. You can't survive without the mother principle. The woman is the epitome and the embodiment of prana incarnated. All right? So understand what's taking place here. Christianity is based on that. The Orthodox Christianity, such as Catholicism, the Catholic Church is based on that. Why do you think every time they say you sin, you got to do 100 Hail Marys? Because Mary is the individual or the principle in which that they tell you, which is the Holy Ghost, the Queen of Heaven, in which that you must go through. You can't look. You can blaspheme the Son, Son by saying he was a curse on the cross. They say you can blaspheme God, and you'll be forgiven. But try to blaspheme the Holy Ghost and see what happens. This is in your Bible. They say that.
Sure do.
So that means the most holy out of the 3 entities is not the Father in heaven, but the higher self, the mother of virtues,
Mm-hmm.
which can only be obtained by the holy breath.
Ourselves.
Right. So this is really what needs to be explored and to be understood to the highest levels, Brother L.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what we talking about, true Christianity. All right? Now, when you get to Islam,
you
talking about
bring
the
it down in its purest form.
Right.
Purest form. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's what this is what really should be taught in Sunday school.
Exactly.
Because, you know, this is what they should really be teaching.
Right. This is what they should be teaching, but don't and won't, because they don't want to research and come to a metaphysical understanding, overstand and understand it. They want to continue believing that it is something historical, or thinking that they have fulfilled their mission by transforming white Jesus to black Jesus. No,
the
that's
man
just
didn't exist no way. So it's a worthless, you know, it's a senseless argument, you know.
Right. That's right. It's a psychological play to make sure that you see God in your image and after your likeness. There's nothing wrong with that. But now take it to a more metaphysical level, in which that these are the keys that is left in the book called Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, written by Charles Fillmore, or the 12 Powers of Man, written by Charles Fillmore and Cora Fillmore. Take it to a deeper level. Understand that if you sneeze, what's the sound you make when you sneeze, Brother L? Right, Yashu. Now hold up. Yashu, what is Jesus' name that you keep saying, Brother L, is?
Yeshua.
Right, Yeshua. And you make the sound Yeshua when you sneeze.
That's the holy breath right there.
Right. Is that a coincidence, or is that something in which that they was already leaving you keys so you can come back into higher consciousness or come back into self, while you Negroes still debating on white Jesus and black Jesus? I be seeing all these dumbass debates on Facebook wars. Waste of time. Get back into the breath of life and all this shit will be revealed to you. And also do some reading, comprehending, understanding, so that you can teach correct information. All right, because this is about, once again, freeing the soul. This ain't about embedding and tying up and having somebody to follow your religious thoughts. All right, more are upset at me because I don't teach Jesus lived in the way that they teach it.
Exactly.
No, because my information done went beyond race and color, and we done went beyond white man, black man type of mentality. We done went beyond that.
Right.
You taking it to what it actually meant. You talking about the metaphysical, the occult, and the esoteric principles and teachings. That's what we're taking it back. So I'm sorry, Moors, if you upset at me because I can't teach Black Jesus lived or more Jesus lived 2,000 years ago. And because that's the way that you interpret it in the Holy Quran, Circle 7. That's where you interpret the book.
That's
your interpretation. That's your interpretation. That's not mine. Mine is when I go to chapter Zoan, what is it? Elizabeth and Zoan, Egypt. When I go to that chapter, it speaks about teach them the holy breath, and that the holy breath will make them one again with Allah. And that the holy breath promotes peace and harmony. I'm paraphrasing, but it's there. So the holy breath is what promotes peace, which is Islam. Every time I turn around, niggas saying, Islam, more Islam. Islam, Mo. Nigga, what you know about the holy breath? I don't know. Don't be saying Islam to me then. Islam means peace. The only thing that can bring peace is the holy breath. Peace and harmony comes through the mastering of the holy breath, not by reciting and being a goddamn parrot. Well, they told me Islam, Mo. Well, they say Islam. Islam is the fifth attribute of Allah, which is as-salam, as in assalamu alaikum, or shalom alaikum within Hebrew, which means peace be unto you. Or assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. All right, so we're talking about language, linguistics, Hebrew, Arabic, Metru Neter, and how they flourish from the mother tongue. This is why Arabic is called the mother tongue, because it comes directly from the demonic script of the Metru Neter, the written system of the Metru Neter. That's where Arabic comes from. So if you want to say Islam, understand that it comes from the word Shama, or the word Sharem, or Sarem. The word Sharem is where you get the word Salam from. The R and the L's, once again, is interchangeable. Another form of Sharem or Sarem is Shama. All right, which is, once again, the Metru Neter, in which that the word Shama means peace. All right, or sanctuary. All right, the word Sharem. All right, so when you say Islam or Salam, Sharem, Shama, that's what you're talking about. And that piece is tied back to what we refer to as Imhotep. He was called he was referred to as the Prince of Peace. Jesus, 3,000 years later, was called the Prince of Peace in the book of Isaiah. And his name would be Emmanuel, which means God is in us. It's been mistranslated to say God is with us. No, God is in us. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that your body is the temple of God? Luke 17:21. Look here nor there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we have to take this consciousness to a higher level, to the infinity consciousness, or infinite consciousness, because as long as Negroes are dealing with interpersonal consciousness, intrapersonal consciousness, or life consciousness, they can't go into the subconscious, superconscious, magnetic, or infinite conscious realms. They can't understand. Each realm is different. Each level is different, even though they're all connected and they all are overtones and superimposed on top of each other in that regard. It's different levels, though. A person with interpersonal consciousness can't even fathom what the hell somebody understands, overstands, and understands at the level of infinite consciousness.
No.
Or magnetic consciousness, or super consciousness, or subconsciousness. They can't even fathom.
Not any of that.
Right. The average person can't even lucid dream. Some of these niggas are still dreaming in black and white. Okay? They still dreaming in black and white. And talking about they know something. Niggas, you still dreaming in black and white. How the fuck can you tell me something? You don't even see in color. Nigga, are you colorblind? So this is the nonsense that's going on, Brother L.
Oh, man, big time.
Yeah. We got some questions here in the chat room. We're going to open up the line. Yeah, I know. I know. All right. We're going to go to the line for those who want to call in, 626-414-3535. 626-414-3535. We still ain't getting into Islam yet. We getting ready to get into that yet. in a few seconds, a few minutes, or whatever here. So once again, 626-414-3535. Brother L, you got something to build on before we get the phone lines open right quick?
Oh, yeah, like I said, you bring it down Christianity, Islam, and Judaism in its proper, organic, and purest form, the way you've been dropping tonight. You know, the way it should be taught in these churches and the mosques and in the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated and in the masjids in the Nation of Islam and the churches all over the country and all over the world. That's where it's supposed to be taught. But it upset their institutions. So they don't want to lose no money. They don't want to lose their jobs. They have to find another job. So that's what's going on. They don't want to look for another job. So they want to keep those jobs that they got. Misleading, not leading the people, but keep on misleading the people. And this is what's going on.
Yeah, you better. All right, here we go. All right, Brother L. We got area code. We got area code 85. Okay, we got area code 512. 512. You on the air?
Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, Dr. Alim, what's going on, Moors?
Peace.
I had a question, man. I know about the Christianity and everything, man. I'm all worried about the word, the Naga word. What I hear that it comes from the Niger monkey, and then I heard it comes from the Naga goddess. So is it good to say, nigga? Should we say? Where we at with that? But I'm all with the Christianity. I know ain't no Joshua, ain't no none of that. You hooked me up on that. Thank you, brother. 4 years ago.
Right. Well, no. The thing is that when you talk about the Naga, it has connections to the word Niger, where the word nigga comes from, and Nigeria, where the word Naga also stems from, which was once again emperor and empress or king and queen. We still have two countries today in Africa that's named after those two principles. So as the Cushites moved from out of Ethiopia and out of what we refer to now as ancient Kemet, they went into what is now called Nigeria and Niger, or Niger. Now, anybody can see that if you put the G in Niger, you get the word nigga. It's shit. I mean, it ain't that hard. You know what I'm saying? So for them to say it comes from, if they say it comes from a monkey, then let's go back to when Nigeria was named by the name Nigeria, and let's go back to when the term that they got this name for this monkey came from, because that's how you're gonna get your truth on the matter. All right. I beg to differ that we're gonna find that Nigeria existed longer in terms of the name than the damn Niger monkey.
Right. Okay. I got you. That is.
All right.
So we was there before the monkey. They named it themselves after Niger, which was where the monkey is from. Still our shit. Okay.
Right. That's what the monkey. Right. All right. So if the monkey is from Niger, and then the people calling them Nigerians, why don't we tell them the Nigerians and the Nigerian, y'all need to stop calling yourself niggas because you're calling yourself that after a monkey. Why is nobody telling them that then, if that is the case? Let me explain something. All right. The fact that the word Naga is on all the continents or on the populated continents, and it actually was an actual language called Nagal. This would tell us, and see, we're talking about more than 2 million years ago. All right, you can get the book Children of Mu by James Churchward. All right, Albert Churchward is his brother, who wrote the Primordial Signs and Symbols of Man. But he states that the Twa people, the Pygmies, existed on a Hawaiian continent called Lemuria, which the word Lemuria is named after a monkey too. Okay,
you had the lemur years ago.
Right, 2 million years ago. Right,
this is a civilization.
Yes, they existed on the Hawaiian Islands, which was called Lemuria. At least that's the term the European or Albion have given the place. It's called Lemuria. But it was never called that. It was called Mu. M-U, Mu, which means water.
Okay. I have one more question for you, Dr.
Right, because the islands was surrounded by water, so it was called Mu. But the Albion gave it the word Lemuria, in which that is named after a monkey also called the lemur monkey. So they have a tendency of naming things wherever we at in order to discredit or to humiliate us.
Right, okay. To connect us to monkey.
Right, to try to connect us to monkey because they was trying to prove their Charles Darwin theory at the turn of the century in the 1800s that we came from monkeys. Sorry, Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Creemore specifically states that we was already on the planet 2.8 billion years ago.
Right.
And guess what? The monkey only came into existence the apes and the monkeys only came into existence 20 million years ago. So that means that we must have made them, not vice versa.
Wow. What about the dinosaurs, Dr. El-Bey?
We killed them all. At one time, we was 36 feet tall. That's when the oxygen content was. That's when the oxygen content was 35% as compared to now less than 21%. So when the air content was greater, oxygen was was greater, we grew taller. We at one time was 36 feet tall. Then we went to 25 feet tall. Then we went to 17, 18 feet tall. Then we went to 12 feet tall. Then we went to 9 feet. Now 7 and under. Because the oxygen content keeps getting lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. So we killed off the dinosaurs. We were damn near big as the dinosaurs. We were big as the dinosaurs. So they were just lizards to us, really. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that, Doc. Appreciate that, brother.
You're welcome, man. That happened 65 million years ago.
Okay.
All right. All right, we're going to go to area code 843. Area code 843, you on the line. Peace.
But I had, before I'm probably like a year into more science, and how I came, I couldn't explain metaphysically what the hell was happening to me. I had to leave school and they put me in hospitals and I was about to graduate and everything, but a spirit had came down to me and I couldn't explain this, and it took the form of like how you were explaining, the ionosphere and stuff like that. I don't know where the hell it came from, but it took over the body of an acquaintance of mine in college, and it was like a hydrogenous dude or whatever, and I was trying to tell the spirit everything about Jesus and the metaphysical meanings and this, and it kept saying, I don't know that. It's all about who tells the best lie. And I said, oh, snap, this is real. And I was trying to call out to my friends around me, but they couldn't even see me. And I'm like, oh, shit, what the hell's going on? And I was getting messages to my cell phone, and then it'll disappear. Oh, another truth-seeking rapper or whatever like that. I'm getting tired of you. And then the message would disappear. I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? And I go outside, and I walk around paranoid for my goddamn life, with the Bible in the back of my pocket, and I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? And I see a couple of moles behind me, but they had this, like, they were following me, and they had, like, this spirit, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? And I literally cried when I first read Jesus warned the people of their sinful ways in the Holy Quran, Circle 7, and I was just like, Krishna, no, it would not be there. I was just like, oh my God, this is exactly what the hell happened to me. And I tried, and they put me in a mental institution. When I got to South Carolina, I'm like, okay, you know what? It started happening to me again, and I'm like, okay, you know what? And I could never. And when I was in the hospitals and stuff like that, when Dr. Leon, I swear to you, when you say the breath of life, that's the only way I can escape that misery and all those pills and all those stuff they were trying to jack me up on, I would start breathing, and it just I felt high. I'm like, oh God, I like this. I like this. This is the only way I could feel free with all these people screaming at me at night, trying to hold me down or whatever. I'm like, okay. And then one time they moved me up to the higher part of the hospital, and it was crazy. It was weird. I felt them giving me placebos, and I was just walking around the day room just, and she said, Mr. Jones, you're doing that on purpose. It was just like they were trying to tell me. It was so weird, I'm telling you, but since I really appreciate somebody who understands the science, and, it's just, wow. And the only time I could ever get...
Right, so you came to the conclusion that the breath is the only real thing there is. Everything else, like the spirit told you, I don't know that. In other words, what it says, it's all about who can tell the best lie.
Yeah, I said,
and
God, I'm like, I was trying to.
Nobody want to put the responsibility back. Nobody want to put the responsibility back on the individual. Everybody wants to be able to cast their burdens off on someone.
Exactly.
Y'all need a cross to bear? I got some crosses over here that y'all can bear.
Yeah, so, it just felt really good, hearing somebody who... Say again? Hello?
No, I was saying that they don't understand that the cross is the cross is your physical body. Your body is the cross, and the burden is the soul having to be embedded inside of this fleshly mass of materialism.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I
spirit.
just wanted to.
It's spirit. Here it is, spirit. Incarcerated in the body, in the flesh. God, I mean, how simple can that be, or skeptical can that be?
But they made it to it's unbelievable. Like, no, you're here. You got to eat breakfast and cereal, and that's how life is. Like, it's just nothing else to it. And it's the only time I could ever get back to that, because I always try to contact the spirit again. I didn't know how. I'm like, God damn, I want to do that again, because I don't know how it talked to me. But the only place I can ever get close to that is when I start breathing. And I tried what you were saying about the 3 breaths a minute. That's the only time, but sometimes I pass out and I fall on the ground, and it feels like it's weird. I don't know. I need to maybe sit down and breathe or something, but every time I try, when I stand up, I pass out. But that's the only time I can get in that spiritual place again. Rest.
I've done that before. Do not try to do those breathing techniques standing up. You will fall and bust your ass.
I did. I remember looking at me like, "Are you crazy on crack?" I'm like, man. It felt weird though. It felt like I was in another place when I got back up.
Warning to all the noggins. Please do not try these breathing techniques standing up. Please sit down or put your ass down.
You will wake up with cuts and all kind of stuff. You know, like, where does it come from? Like, for real. Like, you leave the body and come back. It's crazy. But yeah, just wanted to put that in.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, man. Peace. Like, for real.
God.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, bro. All right, so let's get back into Islam. All right. We know also in Christianity, the word Christian in India comes from Krishna. Krishna means the black one or the dark-complected one. All right. We know that his color oftentimes was blue. And, of course, that is reminiscent to the blue-black people of Nubia. All right. They was referred to as the blue-black people. All right. And the Tamil, the pre-Davidians, were that color at one time because they come from out of Kush, from out of Ethiopia, Abyssinia, as they went into Mesopotamia as the Sumerians, and then as they went further into India, Hindustan or Indio Kush. They still have the Kushite or Indo-Kushite mountains to this very day in India. So I asked the Indian, he was like, we was just talking, and I said, what you know about the Indo-Kush mountains? He said, well, yeah, they in India. I said, well, Kush biblically was the so-called black people that came from out of Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he had to agree. All right, so understand that these are your stories, and they're showing you a lineage on how we spread it throughout the diaspora. So you can use the scriptures in that regard, but you can't use the stories as far as saying, well, this literally took place majority of the time. It's not like that. That's not the way that you have to look at it. We know that a lot of the characters was living characters, like, for example, or living entities or natures. Like, for example, about Moses being connected with the story of Akhenaten, the 10 Commandments, and then Moses was also being symbolic to Sargon the First of Assyria, Acadia, in which that he was the king at that time, Sargon the First. The story of him 1,000 years before the story of Moses being in a basket, silver slime, being sent up the river, same exact Brady told by Sargon 1,000 years before the Moses story. All right. Once again, you get this from the Bible Myths by Dr. Tim Darwin. All right. So understand this is what's going on. Imhotep is the story of Joseph. All right. So when people say, well, you know, there's a recent article that speaks about Joseph being here in the Americas. Well, okay, that was the third dynasty. That was Imhotep. That wasn't Joseph. The goddamn biblical character, you can't equate that shit to saying that was a living character.
Mm-hmm.
That was Imhotep. And then they gonna tell you his Kemetic name and tell you, well, that was Joseph. No, Joseph came thousands and thousands and thousands of years later in the mythos. We talking about 1,000 to 2,000 years later. After the third dynasty, after Imhotep, who was under Zoser or Dozer, who was the Nagu at that time period in the third dynasty. All right, when you look at David, portions of David's story is taken from Amenhotep III and Amenhotep IV. And again, the son and the king and the son. That is David and his son Solomon. The story is taken again from them too, from the rendition. The 10 laws of commandments is taken for the 42 laws of Maya. Right? Even the Jesus mythos is taken from Imhotep, the Prince of Peace. As I told you, was in the book of Isaiah. It says Jesus is called the Prince of Peace. But that came from Imhotep, whose name means the Prince of Peace or Peacemaker. Okay, understand what is happening. They have taken, in many regards, the lives of individuals and they created the mythos around the character, made it into a story. So then when you go and study Arius Pisos, who was a Roman aristocrat, and you find that the years in which that he and his sons and friends wrote the New Testament and how they used the characters, of course, he was related to the Ptolemies or the Ptolemies from out of Egypt. So he was able to go into Egypt and get the stories from off the walls and then coerce it into a goddamn New Testament and utilize the Old Testament in which that was written by the 72 rabbis. During the Council of Jamia. Y'all know about the Council of Nicaea, or Nicaea Council, but y'all know about the Jamia Council, Jamnia, Jamia Council. You need to look that up because that's when the Old Testament was approved. All right, so understand what is going on.
Some people say
so when you get into
Queen Moon and the
right.
Egyptian Sphinx.
Exactly. There you go, brother. Thank you, Brother L. So when we look at Right, Queen Mu, exactly. Queen Mu, another version of Queen Mu was Queen Hatshepsut. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So understand the story. Mu, once again, was Hawaii. And why the people, Samoans, Mu, are still there today. Right? And you go and look at the whole Hawaiian people 100 years ago and look at how they look. They look just like you and I here within the so-called states.
Yes, they do.
They look like the Moors. They look like us. All right, the Empress, Rodiasi Gaston El-Bey, she had a treaty with the Sovereign Kingdom of Hawaii, in which that a lot of the Constitution of the Sovereign Kingdom of Hawaii was written by David Wynn Miller. And we had a treaty with the Sovereign Kingdom of Hawaii, in which that they reclaimed their land, and therefore they're saying that the United States no longer have permission in order to be over their territory. So the reason why, if you go to title codes, and it speaks about that there's only 48 stars on that damn flag, and the reason why they never added Alaska and Hawaii to the list, except in your textbooks, is because the Sovereign Kingdom of Hawaii never allowed for them to take over their land.
That's a new one on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's what Sister Valara said. Hawaii and Alaska is not really the part of the United States corporation.
Exactly. But not part of the United States, right? That's not part of the corporation. Okay, it's not part of it.
Yeah.
Right, they tell you that it's the 49th and the 50th state.
Mm-hmm.
But really they're not. All right? Especially not Hawaii. But that's when you can get away with it because old girl, what was her name? The dingbat who was the governor up there.
Oh, you're talking about oh boy.
You know what I'm talking about. Sarah,
yeah, I sure do.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
Right. You can't forget a dingbat. But anyway, let's get back to Islam. So the word Islam comes from Saring, which means sanctuary or peace, Shama. All right. Also, the word shaman comes from that too. All right. As we know, the term that we use as in shaman healer. A shaman is someone who actually use herbs and breathing, energy modalities, reflexology, acupressure, iridology, palm reading, astrological chart, numerology chart, all these things in order to help to bring peace to the emotional body and the mental body, hence the physical body of the individual. So hence the term Shama, you get the word shaman. All right, so understand that in true Islam, you must study the way of life. These things are the way of life in order to bring peace to someone. Even in the Bible, like we made mention of, in the beauty ties, Jesus speaks about how the peacemakers shall inherit the kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, and so forth and so on. So you must be blessed with all the peacemakers. So you must be a peacemaker. Hence, a Muslim comes from Islam, which means one of peace or peacemaker. Right now, Egypt originally was called Misraim. The Hebrew word for Egypt is Misraim. Now, remember, he from the hieratic script of Metu Neter. Arabic is from the of Metu Neter. That means that in Hebrew, the word Mesrim or Mesrim comes from an older Egyptian or Kemetic or Sumerian word. That word is called Misrem or Misrem, M-E-S-R-E-M. Put them together, M-E-S-R-E-M, and you put the word Muslim together, M-U-S-L-E-M or I-M. Remove the consonants and remember that the R and the L are interchangeable in the Metru Neter. So Misram, which was the original name of Egypt, becomes the word Muslim. The only people that are Muslims, truthfully, are those who come from out of Egypt or who have partaken in the ancient mystery school of Egypt or Tamari or Tamaray. So if you have taken the principles of the ancient mystery school, then you too are a Muslim, or a Misram or Mesrim. The word Mesrim in the Metru Neter specifically means one created from the tear of Ra, or one born of the tear of Ra. Now, when you read the mythology, it tells you that humans was born from the tear of Ra. So what they did, that in translation, Misram, meaning that's where the text comes from, called the Per-Hem-Heru Sut text, which is misnomer, the Book of the Dead, or the Book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, comes from the region of Egypt on the Giza Plateau, or the Giza area. It comes from that area, so therefore the people was called Misram. You have the Memphis and Misram day in Masonry, in which that the degrees go up to 100 degrees. All right, so a person may be 33rd degree, but then they have all the way up to 100 degrees in order to go through the Mithram rite. Once again, the word Misram or Muslim means originally one born of the tear of Ra.
Ra. Okay.
It's been translated, or remember, you have the denotive, you have the denotive meaning, which is the true meaning. Denotive meaning, which is the original meaning, and then you have the cognitive meaning. All right, the cognitive meaning means what took on the translation later on, what it became later. So Misram became later known as the one of peace in its translation from Siram, all right, in which that you get the word peace or sanctuary, which is Shama. But when you look at the word Misram, it means one born from the tear of Ra, or born from the tear of Ra, all right, which means humans are born from the tears of Ra. In translation, when you read the evolution and the rise of Ra, it states that right there, all right, that humans were born of the tear of Ra. So when Ra cried, we was formed our physical body. So hence we came as Mu, as water beings, all right, or as navigators. Word Mu, the word more, all right, we're in the same. This is why even when you look at when you have a ship in the water and you anchor the ship, it's called mooring. Or when you look at land, the definition of land in the Black Slow Dictionary, the word moors is embedded inside of the definition of land. All right. So remember, even in the Bible, it tells you that the waters, of the firmaments mixed in with the dust of the ground, in which that was clay or black mud, as it is within the Holy Quran, in which that formed man in the image and after the likeness of God and the Elohim. And how many Elohims are there? There's 7 Elohims, or the 7 eyes of Allah, mentioned within the 101 and the 102s of the questionnaire for Moorish children, or, So understand what is taking place. Right? We must understand. I can't stress that enough. Right? So that's the origin. Muhammad was not his name. His name was Ahmed ibn Abdullah Mustafa Alamin. Right? If that person existed during 570 AD and lived to be 82 AD, then that's who you're talking about, then that's fine. However, the name Ahmed did not come into existence based on Bukhari, the hadith from Bukhari. Bukhari states specifically that Muhammad went to Ethiopia to his relatives there. And it wasn't until after he left, right, Ahmed, that was his name. Ahmed Abdullah, Ibn Abdullah Mustafa Al-Amin, that was his name.
Okay.
Right, that's the name, that's his name based on the Quran, based on the various other books in which that speaks about Ahmed. His name was never Muhammad until he went into Ethiopia and he took on the title Muhammad. Muhammad never existed in that regard. Muhammad was a character coming from the Metu nature of Happy. Happy was the northern and southern hippopotamus, or the Nile deity, or nature, of the blue and the white Nile, in which that every June 23rd, going into July, the waters would turn red like blood, just like the story from Moses, because there's a red algae in which that takes place in the, during that time every year, and it will flood the area in order to grow the crops for the people. The Jews took the turning of the red waters and made that into, into the story of the river ran red. It does that every goddamn year. Okay? Well, we got to take the mythology from out of this shit and explain this scientifically, and you have to combine the religion with the science, and therefore that's the metaphysics. That's how you get this information. Otherwise, if you just damn taking science by itself or taking religion by itself, you're going to be effed up, for real. Seriously. Because you can't explain a damn thing just from one side.
No, not at all.
Here go the super intellectual trying to sound all scientific. Yes, well, during the periods of they want to sound like that, and then of course they go to religious folk. In the name, and neither one is going to. Neither one can give you soul salvation. Sorry. Even when they use the word theory in science, the word theory comes from the word theos, which means God. They still just doing the study of God. That's a theory. Okay? So, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, monotheistic belief system, coming from Abraham, all right? Abrahamic religions. All three stem from ancient Kemet, Temeria, ancient Egypt. No doubt about it. All right? Each one goes back to a particular nature. All right? Keres, which is Christianity, goes back to Heru, hence the reason why for Jesus. Islam goes back to Happy and Mayat, all right, which was another form of Happy because he was androgynous, in which that you would see Happy with the breast, in which that symbolized Mayat or balance also. And then, of course, Judaism goes back to Tahuti or Jehuti. So you have Jehuti, Heru, and Happy, Mayat. You have those four particular natural rules in which that makes up the philosophy of those three particular belief systems. It's a known fact that 73% of the Holy Quran is taken straight from the Bible. The other 27% comes from the Venavesta, which is the Zoroastrian text. It comes from the Apocrypha, as well as also the Forgotten Books of Eden and the lost books of the Bible and the Forgotten Books of Eden. That's where the other 27% of the information comes from that's different in the Quran than it is in the Bible. As in the Quran, it tells you about the baby, Jesus speaking from the womb, speaking from out the cradle. Well, that story is found in The lost books of the Bible, forgotten books of Eden in the book of Mary. See, this is what happens when you study. God damn. You know the answers.
Right there in front of your face.
You ain't guessing. You damn telling nigga exactly what the goddamn book where it came from. Hell, I can damn, if I want nasty niggas, I can damn tell you the goddamn pages and the damn paragraphs too. But I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Right.
All right? And this is all coming off the top of the head. All you heard tonight, I ain't used no book, no nothing. This is straight information that I've read over the last 25 damn years. And you getting it for free. I done damn shorten your damn trip for information. It took me 25 years. I done shorten your trip to probably 5 days. If you get the books that I'm telling you to get.
That's what
so be appreciative of a nigga. Right. Be appreciative of a nigga. God damn. All right, brother. That's the fool tonight. We're going to close on out, Brother L. What's your closing statements, bro?
Brother, it was very enlightening tonight as it usually be when I'm dropping science with you, brother. You know, everybody don't forget the 20th, 21st, and 22nd for the Auto Melchizedek and, you know, and everything for this weekend coming. I'm not going to make it again, but I'll be there in spirit.
Right. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Brother L. And like the brother said, this weekend coming up, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 2015 is going down. You think you heard some shit tonight on the radio? You ain't heard nothing yet. Come and get this live, close up, and personal with Dr. Alim El-Bey. All right, we got slide presentations. We're going to have initiations into ICROM, which is the Indigenous Cosmic Ray Order Melchizedek. We're going to be doing the Melanin Conference. We will be talking about Qigong, Tai Chi, Reiki, pranic healing, acupressure, reflexology, idisology. We will be going over into, we're going to have an Indigenous lodge / what is referred to as a powwow. You know, if we can, you know, we say we'll be drumming, we'll dance. We will be doing everything that indigenous people in their own land, because we got land here. All right. And so everything going to take place at 2188 White Oak Road, Kelly, North Carolina, 28448. That's 2188 White Oak Road, Kelly, Kelly, North 8448. All right. So come down. Right. For all 3 days is $150. All right. So it ain't a lot. Come on down, get these sciences, go back rejuvenated. Organic herbs will be distributed, can be distributed, because I am a master herbalist. We will be going over the herbs. Vegan, vegetarian, fruitarian diets will be served every day. Right, for those that want to sleep, you know, outside on the land in your tents, bring your tents and your sleeping bags. All right. You know, like I said, we will be having the sweat lodge, you know, probably Saturday night, you know, so bring some clothes that's loose that you can enjoy the sweat lodge. Inshallah, we're going to get that in. All right. So you're going to be doing it. Bring your behinds on. You know what I'm saying?